This is an SABC News presentation.
Tonight on Cutting Edge, we look into pyramid schemes that have invaded South Africa in the past few years. We talk to members who share their stories and experiences as members of these schemes.
Kanti, what is this freedom if I'm not going to be financially freedom?
Yes, media, you have failed.
Iningi imali yami evaleleke ngale 4,000, 6,000 and 20,000.
Kubani uzophinda kuthembe ngoku, kubani uzophinda afuna ufaka imali. How are they going to motivate abantu abenza loo nto? Personally mina ndizophinda ndifake.
Weekend financial systems of the world. Ukuthi isystem yomhlaba yezimali ibolile. Abantu aba-rich they become more rich. Abantu aba-poor they become more poor.
Desperate for a quick buck, they risk their last penny hoping for a better outcome, while some stand by these schemes claiming they have benefited from them immensely. Triple M and My Deposit are the schemes most talked about in the past few months, among other schemes that have swindled people out of their hard-earned cash. They promise members huge returns that they claim to not be investment but donations to the community by the members, and they are determined to fight the banking system. This man is a member of Triple M who was lured by the philosophy of the man behind the scheme, Sergi Mavrodi. He tells us how he ended up lured into joining the scheme.
Triple M joining nge-20th February kulo nyaka. Kodwa ngiqale ukuva ngayo on the day of the budget speech. Ndisakhumbula le nto eyenzekayo. Ndisemall kubekho lo mfo omhlophe andibuza uba mfondini uyazi ngo-Triple M? Ndithi kuye andiyazi. Ndiyabe ndingenamhla ukubona ndimamele i-budget speech kwi-earphones. So athi ndicela ucacisa ndithi mfondini andinamali. Andizukwazi ukujoyina loo nto leyo. Athi noba yi-R100. Ndithi andinayo kwaloo 100 kuba ndiphangile. And then later on, the same day, kubekho i-friends zami ezithetha ngale nto kwi-group chat yethu ku-WhatsApp. Ngoba hayibo kusibini siva ngale nto in a space of like 3 hours. So ndibe interested ndibabuza batsho kuba hayi investment scheme enje nanje nanje. Umthetho wami I shy away from izinto ezinjalo. Ikhona enye ibikhe yakhona I think ngo-2010 babesithi ngu-TV something. But ngumuntu ongenamdla kwezona. But somehow ndaba interested kule nto ngenxa yezi-encounters zibe nayo concerning le nto. So ndaya online ndenza i-search yam, then I found out uba umuntu oyiqalileyo ngulo mfo uMavrodi, and I liked the philosophy yakhe. Uthi icebo lakhe ku-collapse the financial system because uthi abantu iyabasukulisa. And loo nto leyo it resonated kum because of what I went through about a year ago with ibhanki. No kundileka befuna izinto zabo ndingaphangeli, so benalo bitterness. So I understood that philosophy and I agreed with him. So I'm interested ukuyijoina le.
But what happened to a normal banking system than investing in a pyramid scheme?
Ibhanki, they're not interested in making anyone rich. They're about making themselves rich. And I think now the system, the financial system, is some sort of pyramid because abantu of money, the executives and whoever is at the top, and the people at the bottom get nothing. Ben Mamele interview, on average, the interest one can gain on imali efake banking ngonyaka is 3.8. Imali in 3.8 thousand. Let's say you forget 100,000 rand. 3%, why is it what, 3,000? So from 1,000 in 12 months, you only make 3,000 rands from 100,000. So if you put in 1,000, with 3% is like what, 30 something, 38 rand. Who's 38 rand from 1,000 rand? Cognac.
We traveled to Boksburg, outside of Johannesburg, where we met with Refilwe, also a member of Triple M. She explains to us how they are helping each other as a community.
With Triple M, we are helping each other as brothers and sisters. Le mali le esincedisana ngayo manginayo imali extra ngiyakhona ukuyifaka ku Triple M and then khona unceda omunye umhlobo wami. Nami mangidinga usizo nabo bayanginceda. So that's how we help each other as a community. Since I joined, now my life has been better. Usually I'm a teacher by profession. Bengithi mangikholile ngelanga le3 angisena mali seyiphelo yonke tu. So I had to see ukuthi ngiphila kanjani. So I had to take ama loan la uzowabhatala nyanga mayiphela. But since I joined Triple M, angisweli mali, ngihlala nginemali and I can also pay the school fees for abantwana. So angina stress nje. It does not even need ukuthi ube nemali eningi. The little money that you have which is spare, mawifakile iyakhula. When you need it, you just say noma ngithola 1,000 rand, at least I can survive. Then the following week I can get another 1,000 rand. Since ngingene ku-1994 ngizifakele i-kitchen unit, ngasithengela i-TV yami beseyimaratha. So abantwana bami school fees angisakweleti, ngikhona ukusibhadala every month. Nendlu yami seyi-paid up, nemoto yami angisayikweleti. So at least sengihlala nginemali, angisenayo ikweleti.
On the 6th of May, we woke up to the news of certain banks freezing accounts of Triple M members who they claimed to have been associated with the scheme. How do the members feel about that?
Mina ngithukile for one, because Triple M sinama lawyers who take care of that. If your account has been blocked, we've got a website where we send the lawyers and then by our blocker, by our unblock.
Personally, I think it's over. Yeah, but that's me. I think it's over. And mhlawumbe bona they are being optimistic, but kubantu uzaphinda kuthembe ngoku, kubantu uzaphinda afuna ufaka imali. How are they going to motivate abantu abenza loo nto? Personally, mna ndiziphinda ndifake.
So why are they complaining? Do they want us to be poor forever? Kanti, what is this freedom if I'm not going to be financially freedom?
This is one of many meetings in Soweto where people are introduced to the Get Quick Rich schemes, where they are promised big returns. One of the prominent schemes that has people excited is My Deposit, better known as Gipi, which was introduced in 2013. Busisiwe Zondi, a pensioner from Johannesburg, is a member of Gipi. She told us how she was introduced to the scheme.
Bekuzi 23 zika March, uma ngijoyina iGipi, and then 2014, and then ke basitshela ke ukuthi imithetho yakhona ihamba kanjani. Ufaka imali and then ubhalise igama lakho ne-ID yakho, lama uqeda ukujoyina ukwenzela iphepha negama lomuntu ozoyomfakela.
The following year, members of Gipi were told to purchase an amount of 350 bitcoins to validate their accounts for a period of a year.
Mase kufika ukuthi kunama bitcoin lawa afakwayo athengwayo ungabhadala i350 beku 2015. Yeah. Cha, bengakayibhadali ngoba ngibanga ngisaqhubeka namaphupho ngesituation ebengikuyo ke.
Last year, kwaba ne-problem kuKipi kuma-deposit.
Right at the end of 2015, Gipi's accounts were frozen, which left members unable to withdraw their money. This led to Gipi, Triple M, and Kept Fund hosting this joint conference to assure the members that the schemes are still running and that the information by the media is myth. They also assured members that the scheme has not yet collapsed, as implicated by the media. For Busisiwe, this meant putting her plans on hold as all her money was frozen.
Ngiqashile ngihlala emkhukhwini so le mali bengiyifaka njengoba ngifuna ukuthi ngiyokwakha ekhaya. Bengingasahambi nama meeting ngendlela ebengidineka ngakhona. Ngoba manje phela iningi imali yami evaleleke ngale 4,000, 6,000 and 20,000. So bafike bangi-explainele ukuthi no, imali yakho izobuya, imali zenu nonke bekipi zizobuya but njengoba zivalelekile zizobuya sezimo.
Up to this day, she has not yet received her money. Which made us curious, where is this money being generated from? We tracked the leaders of Kipi, and this is what one of them had to say.
Unfortunately, Kipi is a stock fail. It does not have a standing or either an account, right? You can't go anywhere and find Kipi anywhere. There's no bank, there's no building, there's no management, there's no leader, right? We are online stock fail. So that means, in other words, is that in Mali, they are with people, they stay with the people. That means now, when you log into the system, a person is being registered into the system, and then he becomes a member or she becomes a member, right? When she becomes a member, she pledges her money. That is how we put it. We pledge your money. You pledge your money to someone else, which the system is going to instruct you to pledge the money to someone else. Immediately thereafter, your dream starts. As soon as the person on the other side starts confirming that I did receive the money, so the system starts rolling, that your money starts growing. It grows with 1% a day, right? But now with Kipi, it's a different case completely, whereby you have to wait for a certain duration of time. So assuming that you are starting, you may take about 3 months, you may take six months, you may take a year, right? But now we are counting these years according to the month, right? So at present moment, we're talking about 16 months. In 16 months, that means in other ways, your money becomes matured. That means in other ways, you have to start drawing it if you wish to. If you want to leave it, you can leave it for the rest until it grows more than that. Apparently, this is one thing that people are misinterpreting. When you log in, you are logged into the system, right? The money grows in a form of what you call figures, right? Until it turns out to become money. As soon as your money matured, that means in other words, a completion of years, months that your money have been pledged. That is a time that when one person will be instructed to deposit money into your banking account. That person also is a member of Kipi. Well, the money grows by 1% a day, right? Yeah. And then finally, we've got a chart that actually shows you by the time actually that you draw the money, it becomes matured. That means, in other words, your money would have actually been grown up with a certain amount of money. Its duty is to do that job.
After that mathematical explanation, we were left more confused, wondering how easy it is for those people who invest their last money in these schemes to understand how it all works. These things are often in contradiction with the law, and when bank accounts are frozen, there is always someone to blame.
Yes, media, you have failed. We have an SABC.
We asked the people in the streets what they think.
It doesn't work because it always gets clamped down on. People lose money. That's the most important thing. People lose their money, they lose their long years, hard-earned pensions, and it doesn't work.
I feel like people shouldn't join such things because, they end up running away with the money.
Mina ngizengacabanga ukuthi ngijoyina but the way hamba ngakhona ngibona ukuthi kungcono ngajoyini. Ngizojoyina if ngiyakuthi ishowa.
After the break, we consult with the National Consumer Commission about the pyramid schemes, and we speak to the South African Revenue Services about the tax implication of these schemes. Pay tax. We went to the SARS head office in Pretoria for a better explanation on tax implication of members of pyramid schemes.
Even if the pyramid scheme is illegal, there is a tax implication. We don't base our tax on whether it's illegal or not, the pyramid scheme. We simply look at the income and we determine that it is taxable and it's a return on an investment that you have made into the scheme. And we see it as taxable.
If usars afuna i-tax, makasho ukuthi ufuna i-tax kanjani, regulate if they want to. But bangablock abantu from achieving ama-goals wabo through i-triple-M. They must not fight it. They must not fight against it. They must work with it because they can see that it's empowering abantu. Instead of fighting it, check with how can they regulate. The way by regulator ngakho insurance lawa sidlela imali, lama casino sidlela imali, le lotto or lutho lesidlela imali. Regulate the way by regulator I don't think ngabahlula. Ngaqeda le fear nje of the unknown because they are fearing for me. Mina azange ngize they say they are fearing for me. Azange complain me. I never complained. Ever since i-triple-M ikhona kuna imedia i-hype government hype mabayijoin babone ukuthi kuyasetshenzwa la, and if there's anything to regulate they must regulate i-triple-M. It's more than welcome. Futhi izayenza ukuthi abantu bajoin more, abantu baphile more because mababona government asebenzisana nayo bazobona ukuthi there's life here. I-Mavroid actually political party. People should not be fearing i-Mavroid. We are not competing against government.
How are accounts of beneficiaries traced?
A normal financial institution, they provide us with data twice a year of all the debits and credits that, information on a monthly basis. They provide it every 6 months to us, so they know Mark Kingan has got account X at so-and-so bank, and they know that so much money was earned on interest there. Now they provide us with that document electronically. The issue is the pyramid schemes don't provide that information to SARS.
What then is the implication if one doesn't pay tax?
If these people who are investing into the scheme are taxpayers, because there's a lot of people who sometimes are investing if they're below the tax threshold. Obviously if they're below the tax threshold there will be no liability. But if they are above the tax threshold, and let's say Mark Kingan, myself, I get a salary here at SARS, I invest into such a scheme, it will definitely be taxable, and my liability is on my annual return, my tax return, which we start on the 1st of July this year, that we've got to submit. I would have to declare that return on investment that I've received, and I would be taxed on that.
The question of legitimacy and protection of consumers is still not clear to a lot of people who are continuing to be lured into joining pyramid schemes. Trevor Hart explains the difference between a pyramid scheme and a stokvel.
In terms of the National Stokvel Association of South Africa, a stokvel has to have certain properties or certain characteristics. Among these would be a constitution. Also, ordinarily, in a stokvel, people know each other. It's normally small groups of between 10 and 15 people. There are bigger ones, but they have a constitution that everyone in the stokvel agreed to. The people ordinarily know each other. They know each other's backgrounds. They know where to find one another if someone defaults on payment or disappears with the money. They are also registered with, stokvels are registered with NASASA, the National Stokvel Association of South Africa. With a pyramid scheme, what happens is, it is literally a pyramid. Someone at the top of the pyramid starts a scheme. He then recruits other people into the scheme. These people join the scheme and they pay a joining fee. A percentage or portion of that joining fee goes to the person at the top. The others in the scheme also get a portion of that money. And in order for that scheme to survive, you need to consistently recruit new people into the scheme.
Akekho umuntu oluzayo ku Triple M. Like I said, mangine spare cash ngiyasho ukuthi I can provide help bese ngiya-register ku system bese ngifaka leyo mali leyo. Mangifaka isuka idinga umunye umuntu somewhere else bese mangifaka ngifakela yena. So as a result akunamuntu oluzayo.
The problem with a scheme of this kind is, as you can already see, that there's no equal value, because the person at the top gets the bulk of the money and the others in the scheme start getting smaller portions of the money. So already you can see there's a difference between that and a stokvel.
I don't understand because we don't give imali to Gumavodi. Imali you give it to an individual. So anyeke ize iphele imavodi kuthiwe imali Triple M iphelile ibaleke neimali zabantu njengalezi ezinye esezigeza zayenzakala. This is a community circle, it's a money circle okuthi uyafaka njenge stokvel.
Pyramid schemes are prohibited activities. They should not exist and they should be stopped at all costs. So the rank and file member of the pyramid scheme is not really important to us, but the person who starts and promotes these, the persons who start and promote these schemes, they are actually the key people right now, and those are essentially the people that we would be looking at stopping in their tracks right now to further promote this thing, and also, like I said, to root out the proliferation of these schemes in South Africa.
Surprisingly, we learned that Triple M is adamant that they are not a pyramid scheme and want the matter to be settled in the court of law.
They filed a motion of notice at the High Court in Pretoria, and the purpose of that notice of motion is to get clarity on whether or not the scheme is a pyramid scheme. They want to get that kind of clarity, and the Consumer Commission is opposing that application of theirs. So we'll be with them in court when they and we will be opposing that application.
That philosophy, that philosophy needs to be continued, because abantu bayasokola ngenxa yabantu.
My humble opinion is ultimately it will be the downfall of the person if they continue to invest into such a scheme. So it is putting yourself, while it might be quick wins in the beginning, and I might have joy now, just remember at the end of that there's somebody who's got suffering. So for some it might be freedom, but let me tell you that freedom is built on the sorrows of some families, and I'm aware of pensioners losing all their resources and being unable to feed themselves, and that is a tragedy in our community.
Nginalo lona ithemba ngoba mawumuntu kufuneka vele la emhlabeni ube nayo trust nokuze themba wena ukuthi okay uNkulunkulu uzongisiza uzongenzela lento.
Almost every day, a new pyramid scheme is introduced with the aim of making a quick buck, but the reality is that people are being robbed of their hard-earned cash.